Well, this is what they call the Pool of London. This is the pool, and here there was all kind of Butler's Wharf and the Shad Thames here, where Percy worked. Johnny Davis, he worked there, and Georgie Nichols and Albert Blackman. They all worked. These was all what they call short sea trader wharfs. They was all like I say anything up to about 4,000 or 5,000 tons. These was like small ships, and it was just alive. It was just alive. Over the other side, you had what they call New Fresh Wharf, which was used to bring in all from Poland and the Baltic, a lot of stuff from there, like. Yeah. And this side, it all used to come out to load craft here, but this was busy. This was busy here. In actual fact, I should imagine they called this what Tudor Street, or the street as they commonly knew it, like. You know what I mean? Yeah. Us in the enclosed docks used to call it the Golden Mile, because they earned more money up here than we could ever earn in the enclosed docks, because it was all on a good rate of pay, because they got what they call short sea trader rates. And the smaller ships, we had big ships, they had small ships, they could get it out quicker, earn twice as much as us, and we had big ships we had to contend with crowbars and hooks and that down our ships, and it was hard collar in the enclosed docks. We was doing 10, 12, 14,000 ton ships. They was doing like 3, 4, 5,000 ton ships here, but it was alive. This here, over that side there, was at Wapping, wharves along there, all the way along here, Gunwharf and Morocco, Dunbar, all along here, up to more or less where you're going now. You go right the way round, there's all little wharves, little flower wharves. Then you go up to, when you look round up there, Canary Wharf, that's where the mill on the west was, West India Dock. You had all wharves around there, Poplar Dock, which was a railway dock. But that there, oh, I suppose in the West India Dock at that time there was about 8,000 men working there. Mm. You know what I mean? In that where it is now, like Canary Wharf and that. It's called Canary Wharf for one reason. That's where the Canary tomato boats used to come in here. That's why they call it Canary. A lot of people don't know that, from the Canary. You know, up what called South Dock, up towards North Quay, the other side of 19 berth. That's where the Canary. That was a plum job. You get the tomato jobs coming in. The dock, we never done it, Steve. Always the dock was done that. But that was a plum job. Get the tomatoes.
Plum tomatoes.
The plum tomatoes. It was good. You know what I mean, Michael? It was really great. Because they'd go and go, oh, I've got a tomato job. That's going to earn a nice few bob. Only seasonal. Yeah. But that's where it got its name from. Because the Canary boats would come out the Canary.
So what? Different cargoes had different pay.
More or less, yeah. You used on like certain rates in the book. Like tomatoes was a good job. Like butter wasn't too bad. The general cargo was a general rate. We used to get like I remember 400 penny halfpenny a ton between 13 of you. So every ton you put in a ship, you got 13 for 400 penny halfpenny. So you had to put some tons in the ship, and it was all like handball, hooks and bars. You was buying casing up here, but this here was, we regard it in like enclosed docks. This was as Tony always said to me, this is the Golden Mile.
Is it all the elite up here?
Yeah, a lot of butter come up here, butter and cheese. We used to discharge it in the craft out the big New Zealand ships, you know, the shore saddle boats in the Albert Dock, and the New Zealand Shipping Company, and the lambs. All to come up here.
Was all your family in the dock, mate?
Yeah, brothers, my father, cousins, you know, all landed down like, you know, it was a father to son, say business, more or less, because you got to have someone in the docks to get a ticket to be recommended as such. I mean, it's like father to son, grandfathers, etc. Yeah. And so, not all of them, because some doctors got in like more or less. On a casual basis, and they was taken up regular, like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
What did you do in the dock?
First of all, I started off as more or less a gear boy. I was splicing wires and ropes for the stevedores and dockers to use. And then after I come out of the Navy, I was offered what they called my ticket, you know, as a stevedore. And I took the ticket up in 1958, 57, 58, about that period. And I went into the Albert Dock, whereas all my family was in the Surrey docks, you know what I mean? My cousin and I just, I said, where do you want to go? You had a choice, and I decided to go to the Royal Group of Docks.
What was the people like? What was it like working in the docks? What was the men like? Doing the dock then, Mick?
Well, I went in the gear sheds at first, you know what I mean? In the gear shed, and I started splicing wires, etc. And boats for use in the docks, you know what I mean? Because there was no containerisation, and it was all like loose cargo. Yeah. You know, you had strops and wires to pick up the cargo. And after that, after I went in, called that a national service, I went in the Navy, I come out and I was offered my ticket, what they call stevedore's ticket, and I had to go up in front of a committee of men, and was recommended as a stevedore. You know what I mean? And
what's the difference between stevedore and docker? Why don't you become a docker?
Well, the dockers, like, put it this way, the stevedores, we was an old tradition, but it was the word stevedore is a Spanish word. It means esteva, means to stow. We worked on ships. Like the stevedores, we was established in about 1872 as a body, you know, as a body of working men. Whereas the dockers was more or less, I say, those wharfingers and dockers, and we had blue ticket dockers, what they called, you know, the old Blue Union. We had the old Blue Union before the Transport and General Workers Union come in. But basically, they was made up the same as us. You had to have a book under the National Labour Board to work on.
Because I know some people used to say, oh yeah, he was a docker. I wasn't a docker, I was a stevedore, so there's a bit of rivalry, wasn't there?
Well, it's a bit of tradition, because us, basically, the stevedores was the ones who dug the docks out, because mainly we were Irish. We were all like Catholic Irish, the stevedores, so we dug the docks out, you know what I mean? And then we worked in them. Yeah. And we was all like Irish labourers, basically. Yeah. My grandfather, like, actually put a foot into that. He was a farrier in Bermondsey. But it was all like, he was a scallywag at that time. He was a stevedore farrier. But basically, the stevedores was established, an established body, you know, and it's handed down from father to son. You know, tradition more or less.
What was the men like in the dock? Was it like working in the dock?
The men was very hard workers, because to actually get a living, you got to be a bit strong. Like the average say, like, when I was in the Albert dock, I went on what I call the well boats, very hard working ships. And my day's work, I had to shift, personally, 80 tonne, 100 tonnes a day. That was physical. I had to run, like, I had to actually physically handle 80 tonnes a day, every day. It wasn't a day off tomorrow. You could have 80 tonne like cement. We used to put like 4 men, put 400 tonne of cement into a ship. 4 men.
And then 1 man in a crane in a container.
Well, that's it. They call it progress, I suppose, because it's taken all the physical work out of the docks.
Yeah.
But now women can do it. Now women do our work now, as you know. But then you couldn't dream of having a woman do it. It wasn't physically. You had to be physically strong.
There weren't no health and safety, was there? You know, like hard hats. You know, you can't walk onto a building site without hard hat now. But the dockers just used to have caps, didn't they?
That's right, Michael. Yes, they had caps, because we would say we was casual labourers. We was, how can I say, we lived our own life to some extent, and we had a free life. You know, pretty free. Yeah. The man was a good quality man, because you couldn't be a lazy man on the docks. You didn't get a living. It's as simple as that. You wouldn't get a living.
I remember all along here, they're just all dockers walking along, dock workers, all with their hooks and that, and you know, that's one thing that's gone from around here, isn't it? Well, it's just Bermondsey.
Well, more or less, you had hooks in your belt. That was your tool of your trade. It was never used offensively, but you see men in the pubs with the hook in their belt. Nobody took no notice round here. You know, you go in any pubs around this area, or over Wapping there, you know what I mean, or down the Mill Wall, anywhere. You know what I mean, Woolwich. A lot of dockers at Woolwich, you know what I mean, a lot of people moved up there for the old docks and that. And they used to walk about that hook in their belt. Now, it's an offensive weapon. It's a very dangerous weapon, a billock, what they call colonial hooks. But that was part of your life. And your social life was done in the pubs. You know what I mean, like, a lot of work was picked up in the pubs. You know, what ships was coming in, you know, this and that.
What was the pubs like along here?
Oh, it's beautiful, good pub. The old Justice, you know, like in the street here. I mean, like the pubs up the street. You know what I mean, was good. The Angel, where you're alongside it now, like that was another pub. A lot of lightmen used the Angel at that time. A lot of watermen, you know what I mean, used the Angel. Yeah. And well, right along it, the ship. All it was pub, the ship with York round Surrey docks. That's all like inhabited by dockers and stevies, like. You know what I mean?
How about the Mayflower? Sorry.
The Mayflower, the old spread eagle. What they call used to be the
when did it change its name?
I don't know. It's always known. I think I always remember it being called a spread eagle for some reason, because they had an eagle on the side of it, and you know, they called it spread eagle. But the Mayflower, I think when they realised that the Mayflower ship, she set sail from Rotherhithe seamen. They always say it come from Plymouth, but in actual fact it sailed from Rotherhithe here, the Mayflower. And I think, I'm not sure, I won't swear to it, but I think some of the seamen are actually buried in St Mary's.
Yeah, the captain is.
Yeah,
He
they're buried in
definitely
St
is,
Mary's.
yeah.
He went to America and the Plymouth Rock and established the United States. So this is a very historical place. Like, listen, the Mayflower pub, I think is...
But was it always called the Mayflower, and it's just the nickname was the Spread Eagle, or it was the Spread Eagle when they changed it?
I couldn't tell you anymore. Some people called it the Spread Eagle and some people called it the Mayflower in later times, but I always remember it being called the Spread Eagle.
Yeah.
For some reason in my memory, I mean, it might have been the Mayflower then, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it was in later times it changed its name to Mayflower when they realised the historical significance. I worked at the Albert Dock, so I used the Mayflower as an occasion, socially, not in a working day probably, but if I drank around this area, down the Albion, down by the tunnel, but occasionally I've been in the Mayflower.
But most of the pubs around here was open at 6 o'clock for the dockers, weren't they?
Oh, the early morning houses. That's all that. You had Billingsgate Market, then it was open, and the street round the closed docks at the Albert Dock there was a Connaught pub, which I used to use, and round the Surrey docks there was the Corkers, the Ship of York, the Warrior, the old Warrior.
Yeah.
Those all like early morning hours. They had special licences because you had to get tanked up, get some liquid in you, because in the morning you're going to sweat that all out.
Yeah.
And the most pleasant part of it is putting the liquid in you. It's better than drinking water. Yeah, it's better than drinking water, so you drank beer, which is more enjoyable.
That's a good excuse for having a good drink, isn't it? Oh, I've got to go and work, go and sweat this out.
That's right. She never believed you. The missus never believed you. But yeah, it was great.
And what was the reason after, when you don't want to drink after work?
Well, after work,
Fill up again?
Yeah, fill up again because you was dehydrated. So yeah, we used to go home and the pub was part of your thing.
It's a big beer culture, wasn't it? The docks and around here, there was pubs on every corner, you know, and I suppose it was a beer. I grew up in a beer culture as well as the dock culture. That was my growing up. And how do you think it's changed?
Well, now it's more the people live down here now, Michael. They've moved down in recent years, haven't they? You know, like it's become a very fashionable place to live now. Yeah. You know, because when we was growing up, around these areas, all around the river, as such, our social life was the pub, wasn't it? You know, I mean, you know, your family drank in a certain pub. If I wanted to find you, I say, where's Michael Holland? I say, I'll try the Two Brewers, because I know you drank in the Two Brewers, etc. Whereas Micky drink, say he drinks sort of thing in the Connaught. You'll find him in the Connaught early morning down the Albert Dock, like. So it was part of our culture, it was part of our social life, mate, wasn't it? Like Bermondsey people, you know what I mean? People come to Stepney. It's part of our culture. What
do you think was what killed the docks off, Mick?
Combination of things, I think, Michael. I think basically it was.
Do you mind asking that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me just get them. Sorry, I got the Okay.
What killed the docks off, Mick?
I think a combination of things. Right? I think it was more or less property values. I always said containerisation, etc., which was a big factor in killing the docks off. But the property values was that good. Like I think, like the Canary Wharf, for example, they told us at that time was worth just the land value, 22 million quid, just the land value. So the Millwall docks, where the present Canary Wharf is, and it's a combination of things. I think basically it was modernisation of the ships, a cheaper and a better way to move cargoes. They established it was a better way to put a container, you know, stuff in a container and pick up 20 tonnes at a time, and rather have it loose cargo like we used to do with hooks and crowbars, etc., and by hand. And it's a more economic way to do it.
So it was like these docks up in Bermondsey that first closed down, didn't they? Closed down here and worked their way down the river.
Worked their way right down. Well, Tudor Street was the first. Up Brentford, like Brentford Dock, all the walls all up towards there, like up towards Chiswick.
How do they have docks up there? I didn't think they get past London Bridge.
Yes, they had special barges, canal
Right,
barges,
yeah,
called Brentford barges. They used to go up there. We used to load some Brentford barges, but those like little walls up there.
Yeah.
But as you say, they progressively closed it when the modernisation came in, and we was moved down the river till Tilbury. They couldn't move no further. Next stop was the North Sea, like us, wasn't it? You know what I mean? And so we actually come out at that time. You know what I mean? I suppose they called it progress, Michael. Yeah. But unfortunately, they left all the people behind.
Yeah.
You know, like,
what happened to them?
Well, they eventually they paid us off. You know, what they call severance pay, and we all got jobs as security guards and all jobs, you know what I mean, it's literally boring. We lost all our mates because we was working on our own. We worked with good people, you know what I mean, and we was, all the families was old friends. You know, it goes back generations. Your father knew my father, you know what I mean, and they worked together, they was good mates, they would drink together, this and that, and work together. And basically, the social life was destroyed. That's the only casualty of it, really, as far as we're concerned, was our social life and our friendships, because we used to meet each other every day, then we don't meet each other anymore.
Yeah.
See each other occasionally. It destroyed the fabric of this area. You know, apart from like the old families who's living around who knew the fabric of society, a lot of people living around, you know, got no idea of the social interchange we have with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Mike?
You know, a lot of families here, they ain't connected to other people really. All them old big families have all split up and moved out and that.
Yeah.
What was your life like after the docks?
Lonely, I should say. Lonely in some respect, because all of a sudden the world disappeared as far as I was concerned, and I love the docks, I love the people in it. You know what I mean? In actual fact, the old world was a different world, and some of our fellas become casualties of it because they couldn't handle it. I was fortunate enough I could handle it to some extent, but some of our fellas, they couldn't handle it. Some of them come out and they was walking around like lost souls, because it had all disappeared. And more or less overnight to some extent. As you said, they moved down the river, and then all of a sudden there's nowhere else to go. And we still kept in contact with each other socially, but we was all living in different lives, with different jobs, this and that, and consequently it had a bad effect socially on people and families.
Would you do it all again?
I would do it all again.
Yeah.
Finest people God put breath into. Doctors and stevedores in this London and Liverpool, docks societies and dock communities are the finest people God put breath into. And I stand by that to the day I depart this night. They're the greatest people going.
You do all that hard work again and
all the hard work.
Put it in the coal cupboard. Under the stairs.
Didn't have nothing like electric and that, I mean gas and anything. There's nothing like.
As they come past it.
Yes, sure.
So I used to make the whole coal out of the morning then, right? Yeah, I mean, that's like
Okay, well, when you're ready.
Michael, what do you remember about the pubs around this area?
I remember when not that long ago when the docks was open, you could stand outside the Red Lion, which is now an estate agent's, and see, I think it's 10 pubs just from that one spot. And now one's a church, one's an estate agent's, one's flats, others have been knocked down completely. You know, more and more pubs are closing down and shutting around this area and any other area in London. And I think the closing of the docks had a lot to do with it, because dockers went from the docks to the pub. It was a dock and beer culture, and we don't have that anymore.
No, that's right, yeah. I suppose as you say, the trade went away, didn't it? So the pubs closed, didn't become viable, and then
a lot of the cafes that you was talking about.
Look, watch it.
You can see how quiet it is round here now, Mick. You know, it's all you got is joggers and just people walking along. Whereas when I was a kid, this was all lorries and dockers and cranes were swinging out, and you know yourself. This was just a hive of activity all along, and now what they call it, Rotherhithe Village.
Yeah.
That tells you what it
well,
is.
people are walking their dogs now. A dog get run over here years ago, wouldn't he? A dog, had no chance.
They get loaded on a ship.
Or the rats might have had him. You know what I mean? The rats love dogs, didn't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to get, you know what I mean? Unless you've got Jack Russell or something.
You know, that's a lot of that dock industry took away all those good cafes we was talking about.
Yeah.
And bridges where they used to do the pork and peace.
Oh yes, the tongues, all the tongues, all that. Yeah.
Once the docks went, that shut.
The old peace pudding, all that, wasn't it? Yeah. I remember that. You used to go and get a tongue in there. I mean, get a pig's tongue or a sheep's tongue, and some peace pudding in that.
Lovely.
I mean, Saveloys. So have you?
That's it,
You should,
yeah.
yeah, you should have a good
That's
scoff
it,
on that.
It's all gone, you know, it's Rotherhithe Village, it ain't Rotherhithe,
But it ain't-
the docks, they call it docklands now, but
It ain't
Don't have to
vibrant,
do
is
with
it?
the
There's
docks,
no
no.
vibrancy in the place. It's
No.
just it's like a country village, isn't it?
it is.
Really,
yeah.
to what it was.
It's
You know
got
what
a
I mean?
village feel, which
Yeah.
is nice, you know. You couldn't have left it as an empty wasteland. You've got to do something with it, and I suppose the changes are progress.
I'm
But
glad
it's
they're
kind
using it,
of-
really, Mike.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're using it. You know what I mean? Really, at least you're getting some use out of it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But the only thing that makes you sad is that perhaps, I don't know, I suppose some of the people have got some idea what happened in this area before they come to live here. I should imagine they're sensible enough to
Well, they
know
kept
that.
some
Like.
of the old features like the cranes, what used to bring the stuff down and up.
Yeah, like, this is a converted warehouse. I think it's an old flower warehouse. Walton, Michael. You know what I mean? Like the area, and I say that the people who live here perhaps are very nice. I should imagine they are very nice, but it is the people after all that make a place. Not
There ain't that community. There ain't that one community spirit now. There's like 3 different communities.
yeah,
Yes, you've got the old Bermondsey people, you've got the people who've moved in, the rich, and then you've got the kind of immigrant community which are being housed around here. So you've got 3 different communities. So there's a lot more tension. There's not that community spirit
Yeah.
that was there. When
Oh.
it was all kind of all based around the docks, I would imagine.
yeah. After all, like, we're actually like our people, like say a lot of people in this area was old-time immigrants, weren't we? You know,
Yeah.
like from different places. And so I suppose them people who's coming in are hoping for a better life. So you don't begrudge them that, I don't suppose, but because that's where I think where we come from.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the old atmosphere has gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and which is a shame, really. You know what I mean?
It is, but now it's a different atmosphere, it's a different kind of feel around here.
Yeah.
This is like the Surdock Club, that ain't changed.
That ain't.
It's just they just look older.
That's
it's the
older,
same people,
but they're still as funny though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They still got all the old quips,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's a place where you feel warm all the time, isn't it? I walk in there and I'll grow another 2 foot when I walk in the Surdock.
Yeah.
I do great. I walk in there, go, hello, Mickey, how you going? How you going? And kisses, not on the lips. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Not on the lips. They give you a kiss and hey, how you going?
Yeah.
Yeah, old friends. And I don't think in this type you can beat old friends. That's the way I feel. You know, that's the way I value friends more than anything in the world. Gold or position, that's me. Friendship is the greatest thing in life. That is my thing, me. And you used to have it around here in abundance, didn't you?
Yeah.
Rotherhithe,
Yeah.
Bermondsey. I hope it still stays
You know,
here.
you could walk along and you forever say, hello, how are you, how's your mum? Now you've got more chance of that happening down at Laysdown in the summer.
That's right.
Because you see more people you know down there than you do walking down the Southwark Park Road or something.
Yeah.
You will. You go down Laysdown and there you'll see all the people. Hello, how are you? And be down in their shallows in their caravans.
All refugees from Bermondsey.
Yeah.
I mean, try to escape. I knew a friend of mine in the dockside. We used to drink in the morning up by 6 to 8, 7:45, cool off. He was going to the pub dinner time, then going to the pub for night time. You know, so my habit was about a good 10 pints a day.
Yeah.
This was for years and years.
Yeah.
And people could never believe it. But it's actually my life was like, that was where I spent my life. But I used to be in a pub at like up by 6 in the morning, have 4 pints of bitter before I called off, go in the pub dinner time, I sweated the 4 pints out, get another 4 pints in the afternoon, and go in the pub for night time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whereas nowadays you go in in the Mayflower used to be called the Spread Eagle. My mum said it used to be the Spread Eagle. And what was that?
So,
Ready? Yeah. Because my mother told me this ain't always been the Mayflower. It used to be the Spread Eagle. You remember the Spread Eagle?
that's what I understood. When I used to look about it, I drank occasionally in here. Very occasionally, I used to drink down the tunnel mainly, but I've been up here and the justices and what have you, the angel, etc. But I believe that was it. I think your mum could be right. A lot of people knew it was a Spread Eagle, though I don't know how long it's been named the Mayflower.
Yeah.
I think it had a lot of dual name.
Why did it change, you think?
I don't know, but I suppose they knew the Pilgrim Fathers come from here. They went from here to Plymouth, all Rotherhithe lads. You know what I mean? So I think that's when they changed it. They realised it in later times that it was where the boys had sailed from, to Plymouth, to pick up the Pilgrim Fathers. You know what I mean? They went to discover America sort of thing. So I think that's where that actually come from. But I don't know exactly when it is. But I think your mum could be right, because I knew it as a spread eagle. You know what I mean? That's how you got a spread eagle.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready, so take it away.
So Mick, what was it like working with my old man? Did you have
Great.
a laugh?
Have a
Yeah.
laugh. He was one great fella.
Yeah.
Good stevedore, sense of humour. He was the best mate I had. Your dad, without a doubt. I had some good mates, but your father come top of the tree.
He weren't one of those light enders you were speaking about.
Oh
was he?
no. Oh no, he wasn't. No,
Yeah,
he pulled his collar,
Yeah.
pulled his corner. I would say. Yeah.
What was the nickname you had for him?
Marble Man. That was what he called it. That's what Donut, a fella called Donut called
Yeah.
him, because I was Mastermind and
Right.
Peter was Marble Man. You know what I mean? So he had all that. He had some nicknames for everybody, but,
Yeah.
but that was his nickname from Donut. But Peter was a good stevedore.
Do you
Good
remember?
man.
Do you remember some of the other nicknames?
Oh, I should say, Eddie Howard is called Pepper. They called him Pepper. Roy Woods, another old mate of ours, he was called Concord because of his hooter, because he had all them sort of names. You know
What
what I
was,
mean?
what was the one that Peter used to speak about? Wonder Man or Wonder something? Wonder Boy?
Oh, was that, I can't think of him. I can't think of him.
You just told us in the pub.
Oh, yeah, that was a fellow I worked with. That was.
Oh, was
That's
it?
a fellow down the old dock. Yeah, he used to. He was a fellow down the old, like, you know what I mean. And, his name was Tommy Sullivan. He come out of Custom House, and he used to say that. Wonder what's in that. Down the old, you called him the Wonder Boy. I mean, wonder what's in that. Tommy, you wonder what's in that. Tommy Sullivan, that was. He come out of Custom House in East London.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Tommy. I lost track of him
What,
a few years back.
How's this changed, this Greenland dock, since you last worked here?
Well, I only come here occasionally because I was an Albert dockman. I got allocated over here on occasion to do mainly timbers, all timber ships in here, mainly Russian trade. They used to do the A-boats, Cunarders, and good gangs in here. Charlie Doolan, Edson Doolan, Nitchy Doolan, some good gangs in here.
It's,
at that
it's
time.
dead here now, though, isn't it? Look, there's us. There's us seagulls and some swans.
It's about as lively as it's going to get today, isn't it? I think, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But this used to be full of shit, just mainly timber ships. Timber
How many
ships.
ships you get in here?
Oh, I should think you could berth what? In this particular dock, you could a good dozen or more ships in here.
Yeah.
But
The
then
big ones.
then they used to lay off at the boys and all in station yard. They used to lay off at the boys.
Yeah.
You know, they used to lay off waiting to come aboard, or maybe work them overside on the craft, in the lighters.
Yeah.
So sometimes they used to work out on the buoy in the dock. I think it's the only dock that he worked on the buoy. The Surrey docks, like the West Indian, the other docks, the Royal Group, they was all alongside the wall. But this dock, they did work them on buoys here. I believe so, because I wasn't a resident here. I only used to come here on occasion. Let's get all the timber from Murmansk. That season used to come in from Russia. Used to have the timber season, and then that's when I earned a few bob. There was plenty of Russian timber ships coming in, because the winter used to ice them up in Russia, northern Russia,
yeah.
and so they had to wait on it, and then they earned a few bob. It was a very hard working dock, this was. You had timber porters, steel porters here, but from a stevedoring point of view, it was a very hard working dock.
I can never remember the old man moaning about the hard work.
No.
I can never. He come back like, no, guess what happened today? He's done this, he said this,
Yeah.
and talking about the jokes you had.
Yeah, but they
Never talking about, I'm knackered, I've had an hard day.
They used to
It was-
fall out his docks, the stevedores in here. Timber was an hard game to do. You know? Used to have to make up never make up under what they call under plumb, because you used to get knocked over. And never make a set up in the middle of the hatch, because all the fellas that come out the wings, if you were silly enough to make one in the middle of the hatch, you was going to get knocked over all the time. All the timber you stacked up to end up was going to get spewed over all the time. So, and what they call clearing each other's ends. You used to work together, stevedores, to clear each other's ends. So one fella pick up one bit of wood, so you get the next bit of wood. You know, and it was all like cooperation. And those very skilled men discharging loose timber. You used to get piranha pine, strips, and
I've seen the
plank.
way they stack it. It's like as if they've done it with a spirit level,
Oh, yeah.
isn't it?
Especially like the dill porters, like
Yeah.
Bernie Goodall was a dill porter. Bernie and Wally Martin.
Okay, we're all right there, lovely, thank you.
Mick, what was that story you told me about your old man breaking a record in the docks?
Yeah, it's many years before I was born. That was 1936. They used to do a lot of sugar, especially gangs in this dock, Surrey Dock stevedores. There was a gang there that had name of well, they called him the Pig. Wally Pops, his gang was. In actual fact, a fellow called Charlie Doolan worked in that. He's still about Charlie. And what happened? Like they done a world record handling bag work, handling cargo. In 1936, they handled 684 tons of sugar in 7 hours.
How many of them? 6
men down the hole, 4 men in the barge. And they discharged that 684 tons in 7 hours, which was unbelievable. Unbelievable. In actual fact, it's a world record, and it stood for all these years for what we call handballing cargo, which is actually shifting that amount of cargo by hand. Another gang in the mill dock done 722, I believe it was. Bill Maggs called him Psycho, but they done it in 9 hours.
Right.
So they always claim the record, but in actually the best average was Wally Pops.
Who can go for the record? Just like London dockers?
But no, wharfing all around the world, American longshoremen, wharfingers in Australia,
Yeah.
Chinese foremost and stevedores. In actual fact, world record stevedores. It was never been done before to handball that amount of cargo. In actual fact, it stood for years, and they all tried for it, here, there and everywhere, in the Hampton Roads and Newark and Red Hook in America, New York, Brooklyn.
All trying to beat the Surrey Dock record.
All trying to beat the Surrey Dock records, and it was never ever done.
Yeah.
We tried it one day, we done 620 in 9 hours. With the I was with Sonny Nico's gang then, in the Albert Dock, and we had a job on the inside with what they call a gooseneck crane. And we went for it on the inside, and in fact, we talked to Billy Nico, he always remember it, and we done 622. And we worked at 7 o'clock, they called it 7 o'clock on it. Never worked 7 o'clock, so we was finishing the hatch off, or trying to finish the hatch off. We asked the clerk, he said, you done 622, and we'd been working 9 hours, so we were still 60 tonnes short of them, and they done it in 2 hours less.
Yeah.
That's the best shot we had.
What was the idea of working that hard and that fast though? Was it to get more money?
Beast
Quicker?
work. We was paid on tonnage.
So there's a bit of motivation to do it.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Sugar, like you had certain rates for sugar. Mauritius paid a different rate from Cuban sugar. It's all they call now in the bags, like one Mauritius, I think, was 1,470 bags to the 100 tonne. And the other was like, Australian was about like 1,600 bags. I mean, so you had different rates for different sugars, you know what I mean? Cuban was 300 weights, but they went out when Castro came in, 1959. And that was well, you used to do 6s or 8s. You used to do 6s on the purchase, on a derrick, or you done 8 on a crane. Yeah. And there's all different rates for that, but that was fantastic.
I don't know, just to sit here and all that figure of all that many tons for like 6 men in a ship. That's like over 100
tonne in 7 hours.
Tons each. Teamwork you've got to be to do that. You know, the man on the crane, the man on the top, the man in the barge.
Oh, it's all going. You're used to each other.
Yeah.
And usually I work with fellas on sugar like, and you don't talk. I work with my mate Billy Nick, and me and him would be there all day chucking away, know exactly how to chuck a bag in a barge, and we'd talk to each other all day. Like me and you work together all day, good mates. Nothing wrong. Like me and you knew exactly how it was going to do all day long. Step back, I showed the rope, down the set. They called it a set, like a tonne of sugar. Used to come, no tonne of sugar, laying it down, chuck it away. Then the other pair would have a pair. I mean, you've got 2 pair in there. The other pair would take one, get your hooks in and pull it over to. Used to fire 1 and 6 tier, 3 tier us, 3 tier them. 4 men in the barge.
Earn as much money as you can in
earn as much money.
As little time as possible.
So you at the end of the day, say you had an average day, which we used to like, say 380, 400, 420 tonne, which we used to do up to 5 o'clock, which the gang I was with like. That'd be 420 tonne between 13 of you. You out the river, you know what I mean?
When did piecework stop at some point, or was it always
yes,
piecework in the
when
dock?
they brought in the shift system, and the dockers and stewards, it was all put in together, to work together. Then we all become one, which it should have been years ago anyway, in my opinion, but still that's another story. But then they put us more or less on a time basis and a lot of bonus, but it was never the same, because you was working with strange people, both the dockers and the stewards, and it became not so important. Plus the fact the forklifts was coming in and the easier work, you didn't have the hooks anymore, you had forklifts and all palletised cargo. So the work was getting easier, there was more modern ships, there wasn't the old ships, the old steam packets we used, so it was getting easier, but then again you didn't earn the money. So you was getting like a better basic
you
wage.
Try and do 680 tonne.
No, well,
you get the same money.
The thing is, Michael, you had such a poor living wage, our wages was atrocious. So you had to do the tonnage. You couldn't get that cargo fast enough because you had to get the tonnage to get a living. You got to pay the rent. But when they brought in they give us a better basic wage, And a smaller bonus, we wasn't no better off as such. In my opinion, we was better off when we was working for ourselves piecework, because we was earning whatever money you got, your mates got, you got between you. And you could earn, if you was with a good gang, you could earn yourself a few bob. You know?
Okay, right.
So what happened at the end of the docks, Mick?
Well, I think, to some extent, I think property values come in. You know, like the dock area was so many thousand acres worth a lot of money. As you could look around you now, these flats here are a lot of money, you know, as such, eh? And the modern cargo handling was coming in, containers and palletisation, and so consequently we was history to some extent. You know, they moved us further and further down the river from Tildy Street all the way down to Tilbury, and they was glad to get rid of us really, because the property speculators was waiting to get in on the land, you know, like Canary Wharf and where we are now. And it was just a passing of an era, modern cargo handling methods, and we was...
What happened to the men? Was they given other jobs, or was they left on the scrap heap?
Left on it. They was given severance, what they call severance pay. Like I say, tell our pals a few bob and away you go. But it wasn't the monetary thing. They was lost. The fellas was lost, and some fellas handled it better than others. Nobody handled it good, as any Docky or Stevie would tell you. Nobody handled it good. And a good friend of mine, I won't mention his name because his family's thing was very, very dear to their, you know what I mean, not open old wounds type, but a good friend of mine committed suicide, I believe, through the closure of the docks. And he was a very dear friend of mine, and your father's, you know what I mean? And I think we both know what I'm talking about. And that was one of the tragedies, and I heard a lot of other cases where men have been absolutely lost, demoralised, you know what I mean? And after all these families, like, it had been their whole life, and this and that, and so it wasn't the monetary value of the properties, the damage they'd done to the
Took their lives away.
Took their lives away, and the damage they'd done to individual people's souls, if you like, to individual lives was, well, it's you can't tot it up. You can't actually put a price on it.
You can't price it, no.
No, you can't put a price on it, because it's a thing that will never be accumulated. And you know figures, pounds, shillings and pence, you can't add it up that way, but people's lives was ruined. I was never happy when I left. I've never been completely happy since I left that environment. And your dad...
You still think about the docks?
I'm thinking about the docks. I dream about it most nights. I wake up, I think I'm there. I wake up with a smile on my face every morning. I think I'm still there instead of laying in bed doing nothing as an old age pensioner. Do you know what I mean? I do. She said, I'll come downstairs. I say, Pam, she said, oh, I said, I'll just having a battle with the boys. Like, I went, oh yeah. Then I get tucked in breakfast, and another great day's ahead of me, a day full of fun, you know what I mean? Walking down the town, and you know what I mean? Looking in the shops, so... But I don't think I never met a man, maybe odd one or two, who's made a good life for themselves outside the dock industry, but I don't know a lot of them. I don't know a lot of people who was entirely happy. Whenever you meet a Docky or Stevie or a Dillport or this and that, Lighterman, Waterman, I say, do you remember that? Do you remember when things was good?
I kind of feel
that
was the best years of their lives, and anything they've done since just don't match up to it.
Doesn't come nowhere near, Michael. Don't come nowhere near.
And as you say, it ain't the money. You know, they was working too hard for little money, and they might be doing better now, but they ain't happy.
That's
and
right.
that was their life. There'll always be dockers, whatever they're doing now. There'll always be like dockers or stevedores in their heads.
They will be, yeah. Now you say women can do it. We call them box dockers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Your wife could do it, my wife could do it. You know what I mean? Not denigrating women, but women can do it. They could never do it when we was doing it. It was too hard for them. But the thing is, I wouldn't have missed it for the world, Michael, because I met some wonderful people. You know what I mean? And that's what's pleased me most about this. You look around this now, this place used to be buzzing. Hard-working men, good-humoured men. It was wonderful. Now, look at it. All the money in the world, and what they got their curtains closed and they're watching Coronation Street. Do you know what I mean? That's all. You know what I mean? And they think they got it made. Do you know what I mean? That's what makes me smile.
They got a nice water view.
Got a nice water view. The swans are happy. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's I was happier when it was buzzing. And there's a lot of people still around that can remember that. You know, and it's just one good thing. One good thing. Good bloke, Barry. Another one of your top people, Barry. Good dad, good dad on Peter Lovely. Another 100%. That's all I've ever known. I've been very lucky. Very lucky.
Nice phone, isn't it? I'm not trying to push that on the camera.
There's a water sports here. Yachts.
Do they? Oh dear, yes. So
Sea
that's
trout in the Thames. When I went in there, when I was 15, I dove in there, it was rough, there's nothing in the Thames.
I don't think we can do it.